Billionaire came back at 3 a.m. and saw Black Waitress washing dishes to save her mother. What he did next? What if I told you that sometimes the most powerful moments happen when nobody's watching? At 3 in the morning, when the city sleeps and dreams take hold, Michael Patterson stood in the shadows of his empty restaurant, watching something that would change everything he thought he knew about wealth, sacrifice, and what really matters. Through the kitchen window, he saw her, a young woman with tired eyes and gentle hands, scrubbing dishes with a kind of determination that comes from love so deep it aches. She didn't know he was there, didn't know that her quiet tears were falling into the dishwasher that reflected more truth than any boardroom mirror ever could. Her name was Jasmine, and she was fighting a battle that would teach a billionaire what real strength looks like. Sometimes the most extraordinary stories begin in the most ordinary moments, when kindness meets desperation and changes both forever. Where are you watching from tonight? Michael Patterson owned 17 restaurants across 3 states, but Harmony's Kitchen held a special place in his heart. It was his first, bought with his grandmother's life savings and a dream that seemed impossible 30 years ago. Now at 42, he could afford anything, but he still came here when sleep wouldn't find him, walking through the quiet dining room where so many memories lived. Tonight felt different. The autumn rain tapped against windows like fingers drumming an anxious rhythm, and something drew him toward the kitchen. The dinner service had ended hours ago, but a soft light glowed from the prep area. He moved closer, his leather shoes silent on the polished floor. That's when he saw Jasmine Williams, 34 years old and working her second job of the day. She'd been cleaning tables and serving customers with genuine smiles for 8 months now, always staying late, always volunteering for extra shifts. Michael knew her by name but not her story, not yet. She stood at the industrial sink, her uniform damp with steam and effort, washing the last of the evening's pots with methodical precision. But something was wrong. Her shoulders shook slightly, and every few seconds she'd pause to wipe her eyes with the back of her hand. Michael stepped back, not wanting to intrude on what felt like a private moment. Through the service window, he watched as Jasmine pulled out her phone and spoke in hushed tones. "Mama, I know it's late," she whispered, her voice carrying the weight of exhaustion. "The doctor called back. They moved up your surgery date to Friday. I'm going to make it work, I promise you. The second job at the diner starts tomorrow, and with both paychecks, I can cover the down payment for your treatment." Michael's chest tightened. He'd heard those kinds of conversations before, desperate negotiations with life itself, where love meets impossible odds and refuses to surrender. Jasmine continued washing dishes, but her movements grew slower, more deliberate. She picked up a photo from her apron pocket, a picture of an older woman with kind eyes and Jasmine's same gentle smile. She kissed it softly before tucking it away. "We're going to beat this together, Mama," she said to the empty kitchen. "I won't let anything happen to you." The determination in her voice struck Michael like lightning. Here was someone who understood what real wealth looked like. Not the numbers in his bank account, but the fierce love that makes impossible things possible. He'd built an empire, but this woman was building something far more precious, hope in the face of heartbreak. As Jasmine finished the last dish and began mopping the floor, Michael realized he was witnessing something sacred. Every swipe of that mop, every careful placement of clean plates, every tired breath was an act of love so pure it made his billions feel suddenly small. The rain outside grew heavier, and Michael found himself thinking about his own mother, who'd worked 3 jobs to put him through college. When was the last time he'd felt that kind of desperate love for someone? When was the last time his wealth had felt like anything more than numbers on a screen? Jasmine hung up her apron, gathered her things, and headed toward the employee exit. She had no idea that her quiet courage had just awakened something in a man who thought he'd forgotten how to be moved by anything except profit margins and quarterly reports. The next evening, Michael found himself returning to Harmony's Kitchen earlier than usual. He told his driver to park across the street, giving him a clear view of the restaurant's interior. Jasmine arrived for her shift looking more tired than before, but her smile for customers remained genuine and warm. Michael watched as she served tables with the kind of attention that made each customer feel special. She remembered orders, asked about family members mentioned in previous visits, and somehow managed to make everyone feel like they'd found a friend. But between interactions, when she thought no one was looking, exhaustion crept into her posture like shadows at sunset. During her break, Michael saw her on the phone again, pacing behind the restaurant with worry etched across her face. "Dr. Rodriguez, please," she said, her voice strained. "Yes, this is Jasmine Williams calling about my mother, Beverly Williams. What do you mean there's been a complication?" Michael felt his chest constrict as he watched her lean against the brick wall for support. "I understand the tumor is more aggressive than you initially thought," Jasmine continued, her voice barely steady. "How much more will the treatment cost? 47,000 additional? By when?" The phone nearly slipped from her trembling hands. 72 hours to confirm payment, or you'll have to postpone indefinitely. "Doctor, my mother can't wait. Every day matters now." When Jasmine ended the call, she sat on the back steps and finally let the tears come. Michael had seen people cry over lost fortunes, failed business deals, broken dreams. But this was different. This was someone watching hope slip away like sand through desperate fingers. She pulled out the photo of her mother again, holding it like a lifeline. "I don't know how, Mama, but I'm going to figure this out," she whispered. "Maybe I can get a loan, maybe there's another way. I won't give up on you." Michael found himself thinking about the $47,000 pocket change to him, but apparently the difference between life and death for someone else's mother. He'd spent more than that on wine at business dinners. When Jasmine returned to work, she threw herself into serving customers with even more intensity, as if staying busy could keep the panic at bay. Michael watched her refill coffee cups, clear tables, and handle difficult customers with grace that seemed impossible given what she was facing. Near closing time, he overheard her asking the manager about picking up extra shifts. "I need more hours, Mr. Peterson," she said quietly. "As many as you can give me. I can work doubles, cover holidays, whatever you need." Mr. Peterson, a kind man in his 60s, shook his head sympathetically. "Jasmine, you're already working more hours than anyone else. I can't officially give you more, labor laws, you know. But..." Michael stepped forward from his corner table, his heart racing. The moment felt electric, charged with possibility and fear. He approached slowly, the way you might approach a wounded bird. "Excuse me," he said softly. "Jasmine." She turned, recognizing him as a customer but unaware of who he really was. In her eyes, he saw the same kindness she showed everyone, even while her world was falling apart. "If this moment touched your heart, please give this story a thumbs up," he wanted to say to the universe. Instead, he said something that would change everything. "I couldn't help but overhear. I think I might be able to help." Jasmine's eyes widened with a mixture of hope and wariness. Life had taught her to be careful about offers that seemed too good to be true. "I'm sorry, I don't understand," she said, glancing around nervously. "Help with what?" Michael felt the weight of the moment. How do you offer to change someone's life without sounding either condescending or suspicious? He thought about his own mother's pride, how she'd worked herself to exhaustion rather than accept charity. "My name is Michael," he said, choosing not to reveal his full identity yet. "I've been coming here for months, watching how you treat every customer like family. Tonight, I overheard your phone call about your mother's medical treatment." Jasmine's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "Oh God, I'm so sorry. I tried to keep my personal problems private. I know customers don't want to hear." "No," Michael interrupted gently. "You have nothing to apologize for. What you're doing for your mother, it's the most beautiful thing I've witnessed in years." Tears threatened at the corners of Jasmine's eyes. "I don't know what you mean. You're working multiple jobs, sacrificing everything to save the person who raised you. That's not just love, that's heroism." Mr. Peterson watched from behind the register, sensing something important was unfolding but giving them space. Jasmine sat down heavily at the nearest table, suddenly unable to stand. "I don't feel like a hero. I feel like I'm drowning and she's drowning with me. The treatment she needs costs more money than I'll make in 2 years. Every doctor's appointment brings worse news, and I keep pretending I can fix this with enough determination and extra shifts." Michael sat across from her, seeing himself clearly for the first time in years. How many nights had he eaten at expensive restaurants, never thinking about the people serving him? How many times had real human suffering existed right in front of him while he worried about stock prices? "What if someone wanted to help with the medical bills?" he asked carefully. Jasmine shook her head immediately. "I can't accept charity. My mama raised me to work for everything I have." What if it wasn't charity? What if it were an investment in the kind of person who makes the world better? Something in his tone made Jasmine really look at him for the first time. She saw expensive clothes, hands that had never known manual labor, and eyes that held both kindness and secrets. "Who are you really?" she asked. Michael felt his heart hammering. "Someone who forgot what really matters until he watched you fight for your mother's life." Before he could say more, Jasmine's phone rang. She looked at it and her face went pale. "It's the hospital," she whispered, then answered with shaking hands. "Hello. Yes, this is Jasmine Williams." The conversation lasted only 30 seconds, but Michael watched Jasmine's entire world shift. "Thank you for calling," she said before hanging up. "What happened?" Michael asked. Jasmine looked at him with eyes that had suddenly aged 10 years. "My mother's condition deteriorated tonight. They're moving her into emergency surgery in the morning whether we can pay or not. She might not survive without it, but if she has the surgery without payment arrangements, the debt will destroy any chance of follow-up treatment. Have you ever faced an impossible choice like this? Let us know in the comments." Michael didn't hesitate. "I'm going to pay for your mother's treatment. All of it." Jasmine stared at him as if he'd spoken in a foreign language. "You can't be serious." "I've never been more serious about anything in my life." "You don't even know me. You don't know my mother." "Why would you?" "Because 30 years ago, a young man's mother worked 3 jobs to put him through college," Michael said, his voice thick with emotion. "She cleaned offices at night, worked in a school cafeteria during the day, and took in laundry on weekends. She never complained, never asked for help, and never let me see how much it cost her." Jasmine's expression softened as she recognized the familiar shape of sacrifice. "That young man became successful beyond his wildest dreams," Michael continued. "But he got so caught up in making money that he forgot why his mother had sacrificed everything. Not so he could hoard wealth, but so he could make a difference. I still don't understand why you'd help a stranger." Michael pulled out his wallet and handed her a business card. Jasmine read it and her mouth fell open. "Michael Patterson, CEO of Patterson Restaurant Group." She looked around Harmony's kitchen with new understanding. "You own this place." "I own a lot of places. But tonight, watching you love your mother the way my mother loved me, I remembered what ownership really means. It means responsibility. It means using what you have to protect what matters." Jasmine set the card down with trembling hands. "I can't let you do this. It's too much. I don't deserve." "Stop," Michael said firmly but kindly. "Your mother raised someone who works 2 jobs and still finds energy to make strangers feel welcome. She raised someone who would rather collapse from exhaustion than give up on the person she loves. If that's not deserving, I don't know what is." For a moment, they sat in silence while the weight of the offer settled between them. "There have to be conditions," Jasmine said finally. "A loan, a payment plan, something I can work toward paying back." Michael smiled, remembering his own mother's pride. "Here's the deal. I pay for your mother's treatment, all of it. In return, you help me remember what I've forgotten." "What do you mean?" "Help me remember that success isn't about what you accumulate, it's about what you're willing to give away. Help me remember that the best investment isn't in stocks or real estate, it's in people who love fiercely and without conditions." Jasmine wiped tears she didn't realize had started falling. "You're really serious about this?" "I'm calling my lawyer tonight. Your mother will have the surgery she needs, and every bit of follow-up care. No debt, no conditions, no payments required. But why? Really, why? Michael thought about all the board meetings, all the profit reports, all the nights he'd felt successful but empty. Because 30 years from now, I want to look back on my life and know that I used my wealth to save someone's mother instead of just making more money I didn't need. If you've been moved by this story of unexpected kindness, please subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tales. The next morning, as Jasmine sat in a hospital waiting room while her mother underwent life-saving surgery, she held a check that represented more than money. It represented hope restored and faith renewed. 3 months later, Michael stood in the same spot where this journey began, but everything had changed. Through the kitchen window, he could see Jasmine training a new employee, her movements confident and her smile genuine in a way that spoke of deep peace. Beverly Williams had not only survived her surgery but was thriving in recovery. The aggressive treatment had worked, and her doctors were optimistic about her long-term prognosis. More importantly, the financial stress that had been slowly killing Jasmine had disappeared, allowing her to be present for her mother's healing instead of desperately scrambling for money. "Mr. Patterson." Jasmine approached with 2 cups of coffee. Over the past months, their relationship had evolved from benefactor and recipient to something neither had expected: genuine friendship. "How many times do I have to ask you to call me Michael?" he said, accepting the coffee gratefully. "About 1,000 more times," she laughed. "Old habits." They stood together, watching the evening dinner service unfold. Jasmine had been promoted to assistant manager, a role she'd earned not because of Michael's intervention, but because of her natural leadership and genuine care for both customers and staff. "Mama wants you to come to Sunday dinner again," Jasmine said. "She's making her famous pot roast." Michael's eyes crinkled with joy. Beverly Williams had initially been suspicious of his motives, protective of her daughter, and wary of wealthy strangers bearing gifts. But time had proven his sincerity, and now she treated him like the son she'd never had. "I wouldn't miss it," he said. "How is she feeling?" "Strong. Stronger than she's been in years. Yesterday she started volunteering at the Children's Hospital, reading to kids during their treatments. She says surviving cancer taught her that every day is a gift meant to be shared." Michael nodded, understanding. These months had taught him similar lessons. He'd started a foundation focused on helping families facing medical crises, inspired by watching Jasmine's courage. His other restaurants now offered emergency financial assistance to employees facing hardship. He'd discovered that giving money away strategically brought more satisfaction than any acquisition ever had. "I have something for you," Jasmine said, pulling an envelope from her apron. "Mama and I wrote this together." Michael opened it to find a handwritten letter that began, "Dear Michael, how do you thank someone for giving you back your mother's life and your own hope? We've decided you can't. But you can promise to pass it forward." As he read about their plans to start a small scholarship fund for children whose parents worked in food service, Michael felt something he hadn't experienced in his corporate life: the quiet satisfaction of witnessing kindness multiply. The letter ended with words that would stay with him forever. "You didn't just save a life that night. You saved a family, and in doing so, you found your way back to being part of one yourself." Michael folded the letter carefully, treasuring its handwritten warmth in a digital world. As closing time approached and Jasmine prepared to visit her mother for their evening cup of tea, a ritual they'd started during recovery, Michael realized this story had no real ending. It was a beginning disguised as a conclusion, proof that sometimes the most powerful changes start with the smallest acts of attention. "Thank you," Jasmine said, hugging him goodbye. "For what?" Michael asked. "For teaching me that angels sometimes wear expensive suits and can't sleep at 3 in the morning." If you enjoyed this story of unexpected kindness and second chances, please remember to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments about times kindness changed your life, and subscribe for more heartwarming stories. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovering that true wealth isn't measured in dollars, but in the lives we choose to touch.